Hello people of YouTube, my name is Brad. This is my channel Animate Orange, and this week in 3D metal model news. A few days ago, Fascinations aka Metal Earth released 3 more models into the wild. Probably already heard about this, and I posted about it on social media when I found out. I knew there was more coming, but I was a little surprised that it came so quickly. So we now have the Stormtrooper that has now been released. We have the Infinity Gauntlet is now available, and you can find it online, and the Tuskegee Airman P-51D Mustang. All 3 of them have dropped. Pretty sure Innova Toys has them if they're not sold out already, depending on how much of a demand there is. At Play Toy has them. I've recently placed an order with At Play Toys. They're awesome. Probably can find them other places online as well, but the big thing is 3 more models have finally dropped from Fascinations. I think I have my thumb up there. 3 more models have finally dropped from Fascinations, and I'm pretty sure there's more coming fairly soon, but again, can't confirm that. But they're starting to get the models out again, and that's pretty exciting. Also from Fascinations, or from Metal Earth, they've recently put out their July newsletter, and as per usual, they had a picture up top. A little confused about it. I don't have any details on it. It just shows a monster truck, and it says something about it's a monster of a preview or something like that. And I've studied it, like tried to do a side by side between this monster truck and the monster truck that's already come out through Metal Earth, and the body and everything seems to be the same. The build, the body, the shape of the headlights and taillights and stuff like that. The only thing that's different is like the flames on the side and the kind of etching or paint. There's no paint, it's all silver, but the etching on it, the design seems to be different. So I don't know what the deal is, if it's just a recolor, or not a recolor, but a redesign, restyling. I don't know. It looks to be the same thing. Maybe it's an Iconics version, maybe there's more to it, but all we've got is a peek at the monster truck. The more interesting thing, I dare say, is the current Metal Earth challenge, because of course with their newsletters they put out a challenge, and in this Metal Earth challenge, stay home, stay healthy, and build. Send marketing@fascinations.com a creative image of your recent builds for a chance to win models and be featured in our next newsletter. Deadline August 10th, 2020. Rules: include your full name and mailing address with your entry. So this one's pretty simple. Just take a picture of your most recent build and send it in. There's no creativity challenge, no do backgrounds or put it in a special scene. Pretty simple one this week. Probably just Google, guessing here, probably just because the world has been in turmoil with the pandemic and they're keeping it simple. But that's fantastic. So if you want a chance at winning some free models, take a picture of your most recent build. I suggest it be Metal Earth build and not like Peace Cool or MU or something like that. Take a picture of your most recent build, or most recent Metal Earth build, send it to them and see what you get. And good luck to you. I'm not seeing anything new from Peace Cool this week. They've been very active lately. I guess now it's Metal Earth's turn, so can't say I'm surprised there. Same with MU. I've been paying more attention to their website lately, because they're starting to actually preview stuff on there similar to Peace Cool and Fascinations, whereas they weren't as good about it before. I think Micro World has a website too, but they're just kind of a mess, so I don't pay much attention to that. But MU's has certainly improved. And then looking on Aliexpress, I did notice a couple of the MU palm size or finger size models I talked about previously. I've seen them for sale on the MMZ model store as well as the Steel Golem model store. If you're interested in getting them, I can put links in the description down below to both of those. Another thing I hinted at last week, and I didn't really talk much about it because I hadn't had time to look into it, is I was shown or sent a link by Garth of like a little gramophone model, and I looked more into it and found the store, the AliExpress store that was selling it, and found that store, it's called Rose Fire. It's Rose Fire on AliExpress, their store. They have a mental model or a mental puzzle section, and I'll put a link to that, and it has a lot of metal puzzles, and they're not, some of them are kind of like Metal Earth style, the thin sheets. There's also some that are thicker metal, things similar to this dragon right here, which I've got a short video coming up on this one It's like screwed together of a bunch of thicker metal pieces, kind of neat looking. I'll have more information on that, but they have some stuff like that, and then some other little metal models. Interesting collection of stuff, and I think possibly some of the people in this hobby might be interested in it. It's like little bicycle kits that you can put together, and other little weird metal and wood and construction kits and little puzzles. A lot of them look really fun. There's even some what looks like knockoff of Time for Machine models on there, but they did have, I got led to this because of the gramophone model that was sent to me, and it looks like upon closer inspection the gramophone is one of the music box styles. I may have seen this before because I noticed looking more into it, you go into it, there's several other selection music boxes you can have. They're basically little wind up music boxes with a metal model built around them, or built with it put inside. And some of them look familiar. They had the gramophone, they had the Christmas tree or Happy Times tree. One that's, I think, I'm pretty sure I've seen that before. A dream windmill, and Eternal Love, which looks like a wedding cake. Constellation Love, which looks like a Ferris wheel, and a carousel. I'm pretty sure I've seen these before. I'm not going to go too much detail into them, but if you check out the link in the description down below, or check out the description down below, there's a link to the Rose Fire store on Aliexpress, specifically to that mental model section where you can look at some of those interesting looking things if you are curious. Now that about wraps it up for this week. What's new in 3D metal models? Not a whole lot, but fascination is up and moving again. Brings us to the question of the week. And last week I talked about the Pass the Model video, which I just recently finished and uploaded. By the time you've seen this, the video is up now. Actually, I'm recording this and the video is already up. I'm doing this like right after that uploaded. I asked the question about, the next time, I was talking about the next time I do like this Pass the Model challenge by doing the same model and just people doing different pieces. And I said, what model would you suggest doing if we did that? Because we'd have to do something rather large that's done in pieces probably to be able to get several people in on it. And I got a couple of comments. First of all, from George Bell. For your question this week, it would be hard to find a model that's big enough to accommodate a lot of participants, and also not be too complicated or expensive for newer builders that want to take part in the video too. I like the idea of the MU transformers. They aren't exactly cheap, but they are more than big enough to handle a large group of builders. I have read online that the newer released models are also a lot better in terms of design and aren't too hard compared to the G1 Optimus Prime, for example. Drift and Tarn might be good. I haven't built either of those though, so I don't know what their difficulty rating is. Another idea could be the MU G1 Soundwave model and all of its cassettes. For those builders that want an easier budget option, they could just buy a single cassette and build those. And the rest could take part of the main Soundwave model and build him. What do you think? And I think you're definitely onto something there. The MU Transformers models is ones that I've considered. It would be a big price point. It'd be something that the people would already want to do. They already want to buy this model, already want to put this model together to participate in this challenge. And it would take some planning. Everybody have to order and get their models and figure out which parts they're doing. And honestly, it would be helpful to have somebody who's built the model that can break it up, as opposed to all of us going in for the first time not knowing. Definitely going to take some planning, and those are some really good ideas. And the newer model MU Transformers models are better designed and easier to do. I can attest to that to some degree because I've done the G1 Optimus and it was a pain in the butt. Megatron was much better, and I just recently did, it was Shockwave? No, the plain one. The names aren't working for me right now, and it was so much more fun to do and so easy to do that it's just fantastic. So those are some really good ideas, and I'm open to some ideas, though I will say after finishing the first Pass the Model challenge, it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I thank everyone for participating. I feel I definitely learned some lessons from it. If I had it to do over again, I would do more planning and try to make it so that people were passing models to other people that were building it. I tried to fill in some gaps to make that cleaner, but there were definitely some passes that were just random. You know, my mind, and I don't think I really suggested this when I made the suggestion video or the demo video, is when we passed the models was to show the back of the package, and that's what I was doing. And I don't think I said that. That's on me. Rather than showing the front where you know what model it is, show the back so it still leaves some mystery and push that, or throw that, or pass that off screen so the next person can get a different model and it's not as obvious. It's just little lessons like that. I definitely have to go through and plan and think about it and do it differently. That's one of the big changes I would make. Changes which were suggested in a previous video to make sure everybody's doing a landscape mode rather than the tall narrow, that everybody's doing a similar video format. I didn't have hardly any problems as far as having to convert videos. Most everything just dropped right in, and the Lightworks is what I use to edit. Can be pretty picky about that. I did have to change a couple of them, but it wasn't that bad. But yeah, and just having recently done that, and now knowing with this new job how much less time I have, which isn't a surprise, it's definitely going to take more planning and more time, and I don't think I'm ready to start that planning process just yet, having just finished this project and still trying to catch up and find time to do what I was already doing before. But it's good to talk about and start making some plans now and seeing what people say and what ideas they have. Now, GarthTube, hi Brad, appreciate the work you do with your lifestyle changes lately and still finding the time to keep us up to date with everything. Hope you're sleeping well to recharge those batteries. Oops, my bad. When it comes to those two new anime looking models you spoke about, you mentioned the little cats and lady people. It did say they were an added bonus freebie. Those funky MZ planes and submarines look like the attack helicopters from a couple weeks back. I couldn't find references to anything, so just a quirky model set. Thanks again for your hard work, and now I've watched the video. It's another 7 days to wait for the next one. So not really any suggestions on models to do, but some information on the models that I've already talked about. And I have been keeping my batteries fairly charged. This is an example of how quickly I'm putting this together, because I did not read this ahead of time. Just as long as it was, I assumed it was a comment on the things, but still glad I read it. I'm keeping my batteries charged. I've got today and tomorrow off, which is Saturday and Sunday. Didn't sleep a lot last night because I stayed up a little bit late and got up early, and I could definitely see myself falling asleep in the chair today, but it's my day off. I can do that, and that's just fine. But thank you for your concern. I think things are going pretty well. For somebody who hasn't worked a full-time job in maybe 15 years, I think things are going really well. I've had some very positive experiences at work. I think I've made some good impressions, and you know, I'd love to talk about them, but I hesitate to say too much, partially for my own privacy and partially because patient privacy. There was an experience that happened because I'm cleaning rooms. That's a lot of what I do. And in my rounds, I came across an individual that was having a serious episode, and you know, the nurses were doing the rounds, and they either had already been through this room or had not quite gotten to it. And I saw that I recognized the symptoms the individual had. I'm not going to say what they are because of privacy. I've known somebody with this issue, and I recognized the symptoms, and I immediately got a nurse, and I didn't say, hey, I think this is what's going on, because I'm a housekeeper. I'm not a doctor or a nurse. I said, hey, I don't like what I'm seeing in this room. I think this person needs help. Can you please come look? And it was the right call. That person definitely needed help, and I was able to alert the staff, and they called the code and got people in there quickly and attended to this person's needs and got them stable. And you know, to me, I just did the right thing, but it made a really good impression on work that I was alert enough and responsive enough to do that. And I got tremendous thanks from everybody on staff up there, from my bosses, from my boss's boss, and even got a visit from the vice president of the hospital. So things are going well. I seem to be making a good impression, and I'm definitely, there have been times where I wanted to do some video editing and maybe some recording or building, and I just was tired. And I said, you know, I'm not going to sacrifice my health and safety. I need sleep. I'm sorry I'm not getting this tonight, but I'm going to go crash. And that's what I've chosen to do, and it's made my ability to put out videos and models, it's slowed it way down. But health comes first, and I think everybody understands that. Hope to get more stable, and this project took some time. I hope to get some other things out of the way. Talked about a truck that I'm working on. It's finally on the road, though I did have to do some more work to it, minor work. Things like that out of the way. Hopefully I can find more time and keep moving forward. But I'll quit rattling on. One more comment from Lynn J638. I did read part of this ahead of time. Is this another one of their tricks where they are trying to rip people off about the Peace Cool battleship Bismarck? And there was a link to it, and it was a link to, I think it was MMZ, or one of the AliExpress stores I talked about before. And it looks like, on quick examination, it looks like they've got the Peace Cool model, but they also got a recolored version of the Peace Cool model. And I don't think it was a model that ever came out from Peace Cool in color, but I am starting to notice an apparent increase in recolors on AliExpress. And there was a while where we were just finding what were like knockoffs of Metal Earth models that were then recolored. And there's been posts on the Metal Earth subreddit about that. It looks like people have gone so far as to either get Peace Cool or Peace Cool knockoff models, which honestly Peace Cool and Metal Earth are very much the same. In some instances the same model. They're recoloring those and selling them as well. And what this looks like. You can get the Bismarck and possibly get one or two versions. I've seen that with several others. I talked about it in a video a while back where they had some apparent recolors of some older models. Looks like this is a new thing that's starting to happen, and one or more AliExpress stores has taken part in it. If that's something you want it recolored, sure, go for it. But I don't know if it's, I don't know what the quality is, if it damages the product, if it's actually Peace Cool, if they're just using a knockoff. It does leave a lot of questions. If there's anybody out there that's taken part or bought one of these type of models where it looks like a store, AliExpress store, has recolored a Peace Cool model, I'd love to hear your experience about that. Or honestly, any of the recolors out there, like Metalhead, I've heard good things about. Or at least I know people that like them because they're recolors. I don't know if they're easy to build or not. But if you've had any experience with that, I'd love to hear about it in the comments down below. Please let me know what you know about this phenomenon that's going on with apparent recolors. Have you bought the models? Have you built them? How were they? What was your experience? What is the quality? Let me know in the comments down below, and I can talk about that next week if you've had any experience with that. I'm going to leave it at that for this week. Thank you for watching. Thank you to my Patreon supporters for continuing to support this channel. Thank you to everyone that submitted a video for the Pass the Model challenge. I had a lot of fun putting that together. Had difficulty finding time, and once I did find the time and I was awake enough, I had a lot of fun putting it together and doing little in-between skits of, acting like I'm going to get hit with a model or passing something off and stuff like that. So it was a lot of fun to do. It was a learning experience. I need to take some time to think about how I would do it better when I do this again, because I'd like to do it again, and when I would do it again, and maybe include that in another news video, what I've come up with and what I have planned, and I'm always open to suggestions. So thank you for watching, and as always, keep on keeping on.